a send-off to 2025 here on Beyond the Screen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the last episode of 2025 here
Ever.
on Beyond the Screen. No, not ever. We'll be back next Monday. Don't let this man lie to you. False information. My name is Ryan. I'm your host, as always. Joining me is Jake Holtzclaw. Jake, what up, man? How was your holiday weekend? Happy holidays. Happy New Year. We're coming up on 2026. How you doing, Jake?
I spent the week with my parents. Yeah, as all parents, they bicker, but they love each other, I think. But yeah, it was good. Good Christmas, good haul, good food. It was awesome. Unfortunately, the girlfriend could not travel. She was with her family, but I went up and saw her yesterday.
Yeah.
So had dinner with her family. So I'm stuffed. No wonder people like do the New Year's resolutions, you know?
Yeah.
It's right after a holiday where they feel fat.
Oh,
I'm going to lose a bunch of weight.
yeah.
Yeah, sure. But
It's also like cold, so you're not out as much, and on top of your eating, dude. I understand. So me and my partner, we go both. So for the last now 3 years, we've jumped. Like, it's not just Christmas Day; it's all week. So we spent 2.5 days at my family, and then we turn around, and mind you, our families are like 3 hours apart. So 2.5 days throughout Christmas at my family. Then the day after Christmas, we turn around, leave at like noon. In between our two families is where we live. So we stop, like load up, dump off our laundry, load up, like take a quick nap for like 45 minutes, get back in the car, drive another 2.5 to 2 hours down the opposite way. And then we stayed there throughout the weekend. So I got back yesterday. But it's great because, one, like, we each love all of our family. Like, we there's no like bad in-laws. We're very like lucky and blessed to have that. So we each like have a really good relationship with each of the other's family. But also, you talk about a lot of food. So you got like my mom's specialties, like gravy and biscuits and fried chicken and like all that, like what is that called? There's like a salad she makes. I'm blanking on the name. But anyway, she makes all this stuff my face. Turn around, we get down there, and her mom makes like this white chicken chili thing that's like delicious, and with all these extra snacks. And I get home on Sunday and I'm like, or you know, like you just I'm stuffed. Yeah, exactly that. So it's a great weekend. I got a lot of I think the highlight of the weekend was just like the absurdity of spending time with like a large amount of people for so long. I think the best conversation that happened was the difference between boxers and boxer briefs.
come on.
And it's
Isn't
like
that an easy one?
It's me with my in-laws, and it's like all the dudes were like, "What do you wear? Boxers?" It's like that whole conversation, and then all of the spouses and the partners are like, just looking at each other, just doing that the entire time. So it was pretty fun. But anyway, had a good time. We had a great time.
I feel like we could also get into that conversation.
Beyond the Screen talks underwear.
Yeah, because I have opinions for both, and I wear both depending on the occasion.
You sleep in one and you do your day-to-day in the other.
No.
That is how I operate. Oh, one's for relaxing, one's for activity.
One of them depends on if I wear shorts or not. That's really it.
Don't care. If I'm relaxing and in shorts, I'm wearing one. We won't get into that specificity, but that's where we are, and I guess we're going to disagree. Anyway, off of undergarment conversations, this is Beyond the Screen, where we have many a segment and many a topic to converse about this fine Monday afternoon. The first of which is always a micro segment where we talk about, what are we drinking? You might be asking, what are we drinking? Well, that's what we're here to tell you. We all, in our endeavors on this show, me, Jake, and our lovely director, Emily, who comes from beyond the curtain to have a conversation with us before we get into our main news. Yeah, from beyond the screen. We talk about what caffeinated beverage or non-caffeinated beverage we partake in to get us through our recording sessions. So thank you for joining us, Emily. I'm going to start with you. What are we drinking?
Thank you, Ryan, for asking. This evening I am drinking a non-caffeinated beverage since I had a latte earlier this morning, and
What?
then my lovely partner brought me another latte. I asked for a medium, he brought me a large on accident, so I do not need more caffeine. So this evening I am drinking apple juice. Jake, how about you?
Apple
What do you know?
juice.
I'm gonna keep the sugar rush going. I have a Bomb Pop Arizona.
Okay, that looks tasty.
This thing is, it's like fruit punch is what it tastes like, but I don't know. It's freaking huge.
We're both drinking little kid drinks this evening.
Yeah.
Emily, it's like you saying that you had like a second latte the way you did reminds me of like the feeling of popping open my second White Monster Energy after polishing off a White Monster Energy. It's like
Time to go at it again.
oh, there's nothing better. Just right after you finish one. Anyway,
I did that this morning. It was I have the Liquid Death energy drinks now, the new ones. And
Yes.
then I also brought a Celsius to work as well. So back-to-back energy drinks to get me through the day.
Yes, 400 to 500 milligrams of caffeine just straight down the hatch.
Well, the Liquid Death is 100. They're claiming
okay.
it's one of the most healthy ones, and it's like
250 to 300. Yeah,
it's just a cup, but the Celsius are 200. So I had 300 milligrams, which is on par for a Rain or one of your more potent monsters. So
yeah.
I'm still tired.
You're all right. So for my drinks of choice, I'm double fisting again, and I found that like I like to have multiple drinks because I polish off one usually, and one of them's for energy, and the other. Welcome back, Emily. For our audio listeners, Emily dipped and came back, so she's gone again. So we will see where we are here in a second. But she's experiencing tech difficulties. But for me, I am drinking a non-caffeinated tea because I had coffee and tea today of caffeinated source. It's blackberry citrus plus zinc Bigelow. Bigelow is a popular choice in my household. It tastes very good. It tastes like blackberry. I love blackberry. When I was a kid, we had a blackberry batch like right by our house. We lived in a little double wide and middle, like I grew up in the Appalachian Mountains. So it's like we had nothing but space. So for the longest time, every summer as a kid, we'd go pick blackberries. It was like a great core memory. We'd bring them in, wash them off, and just munch on them. And so now anytime I drink blackberry anything, that's all I think about because even the synthetic blackberry tastes really good. But to get us off of what are we drinking, back with the regular strawberry banana V8 energy. This is also
you don't need that.
This is also like what you're talking about with the Liquid Death having like super healthy. This is 100 milligrams, maybe even less. Like it the way it promotes itself is like we're just a cup of coffee, but we taste better. So it does taste better. So anyway, sorry, go ahead.
What am I trying? The Liquid Death is like the ingredients. I mean, although I can't say some of them, it's supposed to be the healthiest. It doesn't have the fake sugars. It uses the stevia, which is, people don't really know everything about stevia yet, but it's supposed to be one of the healthier alternative sugars. So there's your little health advice. If you want to feel better about drinking energy drinks, get the Liquid Death ones. Whether or not it is, I don't know. I'm not your doctor. But if you want to feel better, if you want to feel better about it, try that.
Yeah. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Dr. Holtzclaw and What Are We Drinking? Get your health advice here from beyond the screen. It might be better than some sources out there, actually. But anyway, we'll go ahead and move on to our main topic of conversation, which our first segment is always box office news, in which we start with our predictions. We go over how we did from last week in terms of at the end of every one of these segments, we say, this is what we think next week will look like, and we hardly are ever right. So how we did last week, here is what we predicted coming into this week. I predicted Avatar coming in first, Marty Supreme second, David, the religious film, coming in third, SpongeBob fourth, and Anaconda fifth. Jake predicted both Avatar and Marty Supreme 1 and 2 like I did, but he had SpongeBob at third, Anaconda at 4, and David falling to 5. How we did? Again, not great. I got 2 of 5, Jake got 1 of 5. I got Avatar Fire and Ash at first, Anaconda at 5, and Jake got Avatar Fire and Ash at 1. But Jake was also like, you were very close. Like you had, if just a certain few things had flipped on you, you would have gotten 4 or more correct.
Always how it is, man.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'm going to hit it big.
On the bright side, at least we're getting the right films in the top 5. They're just not in the right order. It could be so much worse. So anyway, that is how we did with our predictions. So we'll go ahead and get into the stories of the weekend and how those numbers actually fell. Avatar Fire and Ash continues to dominate a lot more than what a lot of people expected. And Marty Supreme upsets Anaconda. Not what a lot of people were expecting. So let's break down those numbers. Finishing first, again, is Avatar Fire and Ash in its second week, earning $64 million over the traditional weekend. You're going to hear me say traditional weekend a lot this fine afternoon because where it was Christmas fell on a Thursday. It was technically a 4-day weekend, but most of our official sources only count the 3 days. So you might hear me refer to each, but what we're going through here, our top 5, is the traditional 3-day weekend, Friday through Sunday. So again, Avatar Fire and Ash earned $64 million on the traditional weekend, earning over $760 million worldwide up to this point. The reason why that's so important, everyone was talking last week how Avatar Fire and Ash was not performing to the same standard as Way of Water. It earned $40 million or more underneath its opening weekend when compared to the second film. However, when you look at the drops, Fire and Ash dropped significantly less than Way of Water, only dropping 28% in ticket sales from last week. This sophomore weekend kicks off what hopes to be, again, a long and fruitful stay at the #1 spot at the box office for the third installment in the franchise. With these numbers, the franchise also becomes the first trilogy ever to reach the $6 billion earn mark. That's all of cinema history. No films franchise has ever reached the $6 billion mark. Avatar and James Cameron are the first to do so. We discussed it a little bit last week, but I want to ask again after we've seen kind of how its staying power is through 2 weeks. Can we expect Avatar to hold on to that #1 spot? The first 2 each held 7 weeks. Do we think Fire and Ash will maintain for 7 weeks like its 2 predecessors?
I don't know about 7, but next week for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
7. I mean, that's the third. I mean, well, okay, so we have 5 weeks. What's releasing in 5 weeks? Greenland 2, Primate, Hamnet, 28 years later.
Realistically, are we looking at something that will actually compete? I mean, we have the re-release of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but I don't think that's going to really do a lot, to be honest.
My problem is it's going to continue to drop. It's not that nothing's coming in, like there's things coming in, but it's going to continue to drop, and eventually, like if you've just got Hamnet out there,
yeah,
like it's going to lose. I mean, this is the 16th, so that's 3 weeks or 2 weeks, I guess, 2 full weeks from this weekend, right, coming up. So that's not even 5. That's just on its third, fourth. That's on its 5th week. It's on its 5th week, and you've got Hamnet and 28 years later, the Bone Temple, which I'm seeing a lot of ads for. And you're going to tell me that like it won't drop 40 million at least in 3 weeks? Yeah, I have a hard time believing it's going to stay in for 7.
Right.
When you've got kind of like they're not big names, but they're going to gross around the same. And so it's going to be a toss up on 4 or 5.
I think it will get close just because when I look at these films, so in 7 weeks, that'll be close to February. And our Box Office Mojo, their release calendar only goes to January 30th, which is ironic. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking through January 30th, and yes, obviously Lord of the Rings are very popular. If you count all of them as one, like we had seen previously with other franchises when they have their re-release, maybe it can compete, but I don't think it will because it's been hit or miss with that, right? The Spider-Man trilogy released with Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi, that really didn't do anything, right? So obviously Lord of the Rings is a lot more popular than the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, but again, hit or miss. I think that one's one that can if everyone decides to go watch it and if they count them all as one. But really, I look at exactly the same films that you had marked. On top of Mercy, the film with Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson, where Chris Pratt's character creates this this technology that is the judge, jury, and executioner of people. I don't really look forward to that myself, but I've seen a lot of marketing for it. So it's something that could be very late. I mean, we're talking, this film comes out January 23rd. So we're talking about that Avatar is going to already be in its 5th or 6th week, right? Could a Mercy having one good weekend clip Avatar and catch it late in its run? Very possibly, right?
Yeah.
I think it'll get to at least 5. I really do. I think we're already going into week 3 and it's looking super strong. I think we'll get to 5 just because until week 5, which is the first, so we got January 9th, which is, I think it's 4th week. That's Soulmate. Let's see. Primate. Like Soulmate and Primate aren't going to compete. But then in its 5th weekend, that's when Hamnet and 28 years later, the Bone Temple and the first of the Lord of the Rings trilogy come out. That'll be where it's really tested, but I think it will still be fine after 5. It'll be 6 that I think we will start to see it really start to lose some steam.
So you think it's got some staying?
Oh, I do.
Staying power.
We're talking about a movie that is almost at $1 billion and it's barely been out 2 weeks. It's at 760. It will probably hit $1 billion by next week, by the time we come back, or maybe right after. So, you know, I think it will probably hit $1.5 billion, which might not be what Disney wants exactly and James Cameron want exactly, but the first 2 films earned over $2 billion, $1.5 billion, they'll be fine. That'll earn just about as much as Zootopia is earning, which, speaking of Zootopia, it's a great transition into our second film on our top 5. Zootopia 2, in its 5th week, earns $20 million on the traditional weekend.
Oh,
that is
updated.
That is a...
He lied, people.
Did it drop? Did Zootopia drop?
19.8, Ryan.
Oh my gosh. It earned $19.8 million. Sorry, round up.
Actually, Avatar went down actually a whole million.
63
flat.
That's okay.
Anyway,
as Jake's updating the ones after Zootopia, we'll be updating those in real time. So again, Avatar Fire and Ash earned 63 million, which doesn't really... Yes, it's $1 million less, but it's still the same. Everything's the same. It's not like it dropped 10 million. Zootopia 2 earns just under 20 million on the traditional weekend, 19.8. And with that, they have pushed to over the 1.4 billion earned worldwide. That includes over $1 billion from overseas markets.
So the only one in the ticker that really went up was Marty, like by a lot. So
okay,
just mind you,
we're gonna get to that in the next one. That jump from last week to this week, week 4 to week 5 for Zootopia, that's a 34.7, almost 35% increase in ticket sales in its 5th week. That is insane. This officially also makes Zootopia 2 the highest grossing film of 2025, surpassing a Minecraft movie and so on and so forth. Coming in third, again, is Marty Supreme, debuting at 17.7 million on the traditional weekend, which is about 2 million more than what it was originally projected in the estimations when we first were writing our ticker for our visual watchers. The film also earned 28 million on the 4-day holiday weekend. Technically, it finished or was competing for second. That was with estimated numbers. So right now, as you can see, even on the 3-day weekend, Zootopia and Marty Supreme were absolutely battling for that second place. I think it still fell the way that we're reading it now, but Zootopia and Marty Supreme, second and third. The film debuted, that is Marty Supreme, on Christmas Day to the tune of 10.8 million, marking A24's largest opening day for a film ever. In the minds of many, Marty Supreme beating Anaconda, which that was a tight race heading into the weekend, that's a massive upset. You might be asking where Anaconda is. It's not coming next, because in fourth is The Housemaid, earning 15.3 on the traditional domestic weekend and 46.6 million worldwide. And lastly, of our top 5, rounding out the 5, is finally Anaconda, earning 14.5 million domestically and 43.6 million worldwide. That's a huge drop from what it was projected, especially since it was projected to beat Marty Supreme, and it lost by over 3 million. According to Deadline, all is not lost, because the film's 20 million international is the best opening for a comedy since 2013. So not all is lost. The film is still probably close to profitable, and all is well in the world of Paul Rudd and Jack Black. Other news, if you're looking for that 4-day holiday weekend that I keep alluding to, those top 5 numbers include, or at least how they fell, include Avatar 3, Zootopia 2, Marty Supreme, Anaconda, and The Housemaid. So really the only one that flipped was The Housemaid and Anaconda. There's nothing really that changed with the 3-day to the 4-day weekend. Also news, both David and the SpongeBob movie, The Search for Square Pants, drop out of the top 5, and Wicked for Good officially crossed the $500 million earned mark for Universal. So Jake, outside of our top 5, it's kind of a complicated weekend because it's one of those where they count both the traditional 3-day and the 4-day. They don't just count the one. So are there anything from the now certified numbers that catches your eye?
We got Song Sung Blue that came in 8th. Let's see here.
That
David,
film apparently was very highly reviewed, by the way. Songs in Blue.
highly loved.
Yes, like
Reviewed.
highly reviewed. Yeah, by critics and fans.
There's a Neon movie called No Other Choice that's sitting at 12. After being unemployed for several years, a man devises a unique plan to secure a new job, eliminate his competition. Oh yeah, that's the yeah. I remember that movie where he's like killing off the people that were applying for the same job.
Yes.
That got a limited release, I think, right? And that didn't do.
I mean, it only
203.
hit
No, 13
13 theaters.
It still got 12.
The fact that it earned over $300,000 in 13 theaters is still, I think it still says something.
Yeah, because Eternity is sitting at 203 theaters and it got less. But granted, that's been out for, I mean, they had to pack the 13 theaters, I guess, for Neon. What else we got in here? Nothing new. Nothing really besides like The Plague, which we see a wide release, I think, next week. I don't know if that's going to be any good. I think it's what'd you say, drama thriller. A socially awkward tween endures the ruthless hierarchy at a water polo camp. His anxiety spiraling into psychological turmoil over the summer.
Which one was that?
The Plague.
Oh my, that is not what I expected that to sound like.
So.
Oh, you know what that kind of sounds like? It sounds like what they say. You ever heard of the dancing plague? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yes.
It's, for those who don't know, back in like the medieval times, there is historical record of a plague that killed millions or maybe just hundreds of thousands, but still a lot of people.
Hundreds of thousands. One town.
Yes. And the way they died was they died due to exhaustion because they all danced. They couldn't stop dancing. And the general consensus from health experts and scientists who now look back and try to study it is that it was mass hysteria due to like anxieties and like social pressures, and they just couldn't stop. Do you think maybe it's hitting on those notes?
No, I don't think so.
That'd be interesting if it did. That kind of what it sounds like a little bit. The Plague, and it's got anxiety spilling into psychological turmoil. Could be. Anyway.
Sorry, I'm reading Jimmy's response because I have to get it ready.
Oh, yes. I'm going to be throwing Jimmy in here right as we get into our box office predictions for next week. For those who don't know, Jimmy is a chat. he's a bot, and we like to compete against the bot to see the true success in humanity. And Jimmy did bad this past week. He did 1 out of 5 again. But anyway,
dude,
I look at this, dude. And
I did 1 out of 5.
Well, you've gotten more right than he has in the month we've been using Jimmy. So don't.
We were supposed to start tallying, weren't we? No, next year, right?
We can worry about that later. But go like giving spoilers away. Anyway, I think looking at the box office, the thing that really interests me the most is that we've seen a lot of drops. Now, usually during these holiday weekends, we don't see a lot of films drop a lot. The biggest drops were Five Nights at Freddy's and Eternity. Five Nights at Freddy's dropped 42.3%. Technically, David saw a 43% drop as well. So those 3 films all dropped a lot. David dropped from 2nd to 6th on a 43% drop. Five Nights at Freddy's dropped 42.5%, dropping from 6th to 10th. And Eternity dropped from 11th to 13th, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it lost 60% of its ticket sales from last week to this week, which is an insane number. Yeah. And the last thing before I move on, because there's a lot I'm kind of noticing this week, is this thing on, the comedy with Will Arnett and directed by Bradley Cooper. Yeah. It's only in 33 theaters. Had a 50% increase in ticket sales. Earned over $200,000. Walt Disney not giving this a major release. It's kind of is a shame because that film looks fun. It's in its second weekend
to Disney
in theaters.
Plus?
It's probably going to go to Hulu soon, or technically Disney Plus now, yeah. That's kind of upsetting because I've seen a lot of previews for that, and it seems fun. Like, it seems like a fun watch. But
mid-January launch, apparently.
Onto the streamer?
No, theaters. They just
Interesting.
released it super early.
Into minimal theaters early.
Yeah. It's supposed to be wide release. That's the Reddit people who love Will Arnett or this movie, I guess.
I hope it gets a wide release because this looks like it. So the whole idea is that like you have this comedian who's kind of spiraling out. He's getting a divorce. He's kind of having a rough life, and he's using, from what I can tell, he's using the stage as like therapy. So he's talking about his wife. I don't think he's outright complaining about her, but he's like using his life as like a comedic jumping point.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It seems like it's going to be really heart wrenching and very like heartfelt. So I look forward to seeing. And I like Bradley Cooper as a director too. He's done a lot of really good stuff. So I look forward to seeing what that looks like. Hence why it caught my eye. But anyway, now it's time to round out segment 1 and get into our predictions. So Jake, will you please kick us off? What's your predictions look like?
I predict Avatar 3. You can't take my first one, by the way, Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna lose.
Yeah.
So Avatar 3, obviously. I got Zootopia 2 because we saw a crazy comeback. And then I've got Marty Supreme at 3, just because I think it's gonna hold. I think it's got a lot of hype that a lot of people are talking about. Like, why is everybody talking about Marty Supreme? Like, I feel like that's why this got such a like a big boost. I think I'm seeing a lot of that. I've got The Housemaid in 4th, for no other reason of just keeping it the same. And then I've got the new release that is coming out that Ryan actually holds in high regard, and I think he's an idiot. Lupin the Third, the movie, The Immortal Bloodline, is a limited release, mind you, Ryan. On the 4th, which is Sunday. I've got it at 5th just because there's nothing else out there, and I'm not going to discount an anime from not doing well. I've heard of Lupin. I've not seen it. I read to you, Ryan, what it was. Lupin and his gang locate a deserted island for treasure, but get into a battle for survival with the island's mysterious residents. So Lupin the Third is the grandson of like a one of the best thieves in the world, and so he's like trying to follow in his footsteps. That's what Lupin's character is, and so this particular movie sounds like he's trying to steal some treasure on an island. So I've got it at 5. Ryan, care to tell me why I'm wrong?
So, mind you, he says I hold this film in high regard. My prediction, as you can see on the screen, Avatar 3, and Zootopia 2 at 1 and 2. I think they'll hold, especially Zootopia.
Y'all heard it first.
Up.
He said Avatar 2. You think it's going to come back?
No. Avatar 3. Zootopia 2, having such a high jump, I don't think it's going to fall as much. Again, it's the new year. There's not a lot of films coming out. There's a lot of rewatchers that'll go back for it, and it's doing very well overseas, so I think it will continue to do well. I have Lupin at 3rd, mainly because, one, there is such a thing as early previews. So when a film says it's coming out on a certain day, it's usually a day or two before that we start seeing. Like, if you go to Cinemark right now and look for Lupin the Third, the movie, you'll probably find it coming out on Friday. Like, you can go see it on Friday the 2nd versus January the 4th. Anyway, so I'm thinking it's going to have some early showings that people will go to. On top of it, we have seen this time and time again. One, Box Office Mojo lies. It will say limited release, and then the film will hit 2,000 theaters and make a ton of money, and then we have the one with the egg on our face. So I'm not believing that for a second. Second, we have seen this time and time again, where G-Kids and anime features that shoot out, hit our screens, they front load. Every time that they've gone to theaters, whether it's been a Wednesday and a Thursday, or in this case, a Sunday release, they make millions upon millions because those anime fans will go out and see it that weekend. What I'm suggesting is, because it's such a slow weekend, and because usually these films, one, that we know is probably going to be wider than a limited release, right? And two, because it is a G-Kids release, and because we've seen this again, I think that this film will pop off and go 3rd, only because there's nothing else around. Right? Like, I think that that for those instances only is why I'm suggesting Lupin the Third, the movie, can become a top 3 film this weekend. But that's it. It will fall, if not completely be eradicated from the box office entirely next weekend. Doesn't matter. I think Lupin will finish 3rd. I have Marty Supreme and The Housemaid. Everything else is just sliding down. I think Marty Supreme, yes, it will be popular, and yes, it will have some staying power in terms of it. We'll see it in the top 10 for the next 3 or 4 weeks as we continue to like move on past it. But usually these films, like Marty Supreme, the Oscar buzz-filled movies, they don't last very long. They don't really do as well as you would imagine, because while this one is a little bit of an exception because Timothée Chalamet has been absolutely insane with his marketing push, right? You've seen him everywhere wearing the bright orange. You've seen the blimp. I just think that this will follow other Oscar hopefuls, and we will see it kind of start to falter a little bit going into the following weeks. And then Anaconda, I think, will remain at 5, just because there's nothing else. There is nothing else. I think The Housemaid's going to see a big drop because it's a thriller and everybody knows the thrills. I think its audience will probably start to falter after a couple weeks, so I think it'll drop. And Anaconda being a comedy, I think it has more staying power. And that is my top 5. And so now we will compare it to Jimmy. What does the bot say? Well, a lot of things that we said, but not quite. Avatar and Zootopia 2 are both staying at the top for Jimmy, but he has The Housemaid.
Oh, Jimmy's locked in top 2.
Yeah.
He already's tied with us.
Right, yeah. Jimmy says The Housemaid will finish 3rd, Marty Supreme at 4, and Anaconda at 5. Oh, boy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with The Housemaid taking Marty
3rd?
Supreme.
Do we really think 3rd? I don't think so.
I mean, put it up against Marty Supreme. Put both of them together. Nothing else releasing. Which one comes out on top?
Yeah.
It's not going to be The Housemaid. I just don't think the genre supports it.
No, I just don't think. Well, exactly what I was saying earlier. The thrills are thrilled. That audience has already been and seen it.
Yep.
And that's the only problem with mysteries, is that once you know it once, you have to give it a long time before, or you have to be like me, who likes to show other people so you can see their reaction, right? So like that's the only exception. But are you going to the movies? Are you going to the movies 3 times just to look at your friend the entire movie to see their reaction to things? No. Anyway, I think that is.
I asked Jimmy what he thought about Lupin the Third.
Okay.
All right. This is a follow-up question.
Okay.
He is uneasy about the non-confirmed release size, I guess. So he's uneasy about the possibility of it being less than 600 theaters, which in our prompt we've categorized as the wide release marker, which is why he didn't put it in top 5. Secondarily, in terms of market behavior, even when anime films break out, they usually peak on opening weekend. He's been listening to Beyond the Screen.
Yes.
That's what Ryan just said, with strong per theater numbers, but don't compete on total gross with holiday holdovers like Avatar or Zootopia, which is rare outside of Demon Slayer events. So he's saying that even if it does open on 600 or so screens, it will not make over 2 to 5 million.
Hold on. I'm trying to use my local Cinemark to see if it will. So yes. At my local Cinemark, they will be able to see it on Sunday the 4th. Mind you, this is a Japanese with English subtitles. This is not the English. This is not the English dub.
That hurts it.
Potentially. Again,
there's a lot. I know there's a lot of people who just don't want to put the time in to read it. Well, I'm gonna. Their girlfriend. She says that so to be fair, some of the animes are a little fast on the subtitles, and you really have to skim them and then look and watch, and you kind of get context clues. It's in the more action centered ones like One Punch Man and even JJK, they're a little fast to both read and see what's happening because they'll talk during the fight.
When they try to translate the physical written out Japanese and they translate it, because on the screen, I'm guessing that it's if you can read Japanese, you read it very fast. If you know the language, because in the show, if you're trying to read the subtitles for the Japanese text on screen, you have 2 seconds to read.
Right. I usually pause it. I actually prefer when they do it so I can pause it. There were times where they don't, and I'm like, I don't even know what it said. There was something in JJK. I didn't have the subtitles on for a reason. And this was part of season 2 or season 1, I don't remember. And they didn't or I didn't see it, and I missed a major plot point. Like the piece of paper actually told you something about a character that you should know. You should know this about them. And I missed it entirely because I couldn't read Japanese.
I know exactly what you're talking about too. I bet I could,
What is it? What
it
was it?
Gato after he had murdered those 100-something people.
Oh, that's what it was, wasn't
yeah,
it?
because there's a piece of paper that the principal is reading from before he tells Gojo. Sorry, nerd moment, but yes. Anyway, the point is, yes, the Japanese might hurt it. I still will hold strong because I predicted and it's written in stone. But anyway, anything else we want to talk about the box office before we move on?
Jimmy thinks you're dumb.
Jimmy does think I'm dumb. Probably everyone else.
Jimmy says Lupin. Never heard of it.
Never heard of her. But anyway, no, I'm throwing something in the dark and I'm hoping that I look like a genius. You know, every genius looks like an idiot until they're proven to be right. So, anywho, with that, we're going to
Einstein.
Right. You seen that man's hair? No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, moving on beyond segment 1, coming up after the break, we have a special for you guys. We discuss our most anticipated projects, both film and television, of 2026. Be right back. You guys got a little bit more of the music there. Yeah.
Love it.
Just in case you didn't get it enough the first time. We like our transition music. I mean,
we
like
bob
it.
our heads.
Yeah, every time we're just sitting here like. Anyway, welcome back to segment 2. Last week, we did a review of our most underrated or niche Christmas films. We did Go and Merry Friggin' Christmas, which were both great films. This week, we're going to talk about what we look forward to next year. So not only are we on the grind and on the kind of final stretch of our second season where we look forward to the Oscars, we're going to start kind of watching.
And it's a slow week.
Yeah. Well, that too this week. I mean, it's the week before Christmas or week after Christmas before New Year's, or during Christmas leading up to New Year's. So there wasn't really a lot to happen this week, but this was kind of an idea that I had brewing anyway, and it just happened that this week was slow. So anyway, we're going to give you our most anticipated projects going into 2026. As we get into, as I was saying before, the final stretch of season 2, where we start looking forward toward our prediction special and start really trying to figure out what we're going to do for the Oscars. We also have a ton of projects that we're both looking forward to, both movies, TV shows, and we have dishonorable mentions. So we're going to throw shade on this fine afternoon. So Jake, this is what I want to do. I want us to go movie, TV, and then dishonorable. So we're each going to go back and forth. Is that okay? You cool with that?
Yeah.
Awesome. So
how about, where does honorable fall?
Dishonorable? Honorable mentions can go after it all. We can do whatever. Like
I've only got honorable for movies, so I'll just do it after movies.
My honorable mentions do have both, but I'm just doing it after everything. So I don't really, that's whatever. So Jake, start us off here. We each have five movies that we're looking forward to. Walk us through your list and why.
Dune Part 3, I think is going to be insane, right? Is that technically the end, or we got a 4 coming?
I think that's the end of the Atreides storyline, and I think that if I remember correctly, now I am not necessarily like
a Dune head.
No, I've tried many a time to read the first book, and I always get if for anyone who's read the book or tried to read the book, the first however many, maybe close to 100 pages is literally just monologue, including all the detail of the history of Dune. Yeah. And so it is complex and it's deep. And every time I start it, I get caught up in something else and I have to put it down, and then I've forgotten and I have to restart. So it's a lot. So anyway, the point is, I know after the Dune, whatever, they have Messiah, right? That's kind of the next step. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I'm pretty sure this is the end of the Atreides. Don't shoot me if I'm wrong. But anyway, this does seem like this is a huge ordeal, which is something we're going to talk about later with its release date and whatnot, but continue.
So I hold that actually over my number 2, which is Nolan's The Odyssey. I feel like I am more excited to go watch Dune, just because, not to say that The Odyssey is going to be boring. I just hold Dune in a higher regard. I'm more interested in that story than because I'm invested 2 movies in, and I already know kind of like where we're at, and I want to know where we go because I've not seen the originals or read the books, and I have not seen or read the Odyssey either. But I just feel like I'm more excited for Dune because I'm already invested. The Odyssey, without a doubt, will be a masterpiece or an epic or a modern day epic. Like I hold it in high regard as a film nerd, but I'm just not as excited. But that's why it sticks to at number 2 though, is it's going to be insane, right? And I don't even have Avengers Doomsday on this list. I am not that excited for that, even though they're saying confirmed coming out on the same day as Dune Part 3, or the other way around. Dune Part 3 is coming out the same day.
Yes.
Right? Is that so? Yeah, they were saying that Dune was going to get delayed, and they're like, no, they're holding to it. Doomsday's happen.
The idea is someone goes up to Zaslav and they're like, "So you're delaying Dune?" No,
no, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of Doomsday. Are you kidding me? Marvel fatigue. Dune Part 3. We got Chalamet. But here's a number 3 that Ryan doesn't even have in his top 5. I took a peek down low. Clayface. I'm actually super excited about Clayface because even though it's going to be a body horror, I just think it's going to be cool. And I guess it'll also put to bed, I guess, the rumors that it's in the same universe as Pattinson's Batman, the Pattinson. I still don't know. It's still kind of up in the air for me. I think, Ryan, you disproved it, and you try to disprove it every time, but maybe.
Just about as many instances that there are reasons for it to be in the Pattinson universe, there's about as many reasons against it. I think it would make so much sense. You just bring Robert over and you allow Matt Reeves. I know that might not be as popular in the kind of the ethos of the internet, but I would love it. We've had this discussion many a time. Go watch the episode if you haven't. But anyway, keep going.
Number 4, I'm how could I like leave myself out of my top 5? You know what I'm saying? I've got Project Hail Mary with me playing the main character, Ryan Gosling playing
He's so him,
the teacher who goes into space to like revive the sun because it's dying, and he meets an alien rock alien. He's made out of rocks or something, and he befriends them, and they work together because his star is also dying or whatever. And it's super cute. It's supposed to. I guess it's supposed to be funny too. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of the jokes, but like it's alien's cute. Should be a good story. Gosling seems like he's doing his usual, goofy but kind of cool guy shtick. But I look forward to that one because I think it's just going to be like a good Baby Driver kind of watch, like small action but good feeling. Not a thriller, but like kind of keeps you on your toes kind of deal. Like I look forward to that movie just as like a good rewatch, like a feel good movie. And then number 5, Spider-Man Brand New Day. I want to see the next Tom Holland Spider-Man. Like we've got Sadie Sink in that one confirmed as I think she's a spider person as well, but I don't remember if it's going to be the daughter of Parker or something like that. And then Zendaya's character is rumored to be dating Osborn.
Yeah, Norm.
Right? Norman, or was it the son? The son. What's his son's name?
Harry
Osborn.
I don't know why I said Norm,
so that's going to be interesting. And then we've got Nacho from Breaking Bad returning. I don't forget who plays him. As Scorpion, right?
Yes.
Let's see here who plays him. Sorry, I'm still looking. Bing doesn't take me to IMDb immediately, and I just use the Windows search.
Oh no, it's okay.
Michael Mondo?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. So he plays Nacho in Breaking Bad. He's playing Scorpion. He played Scorpion. We've already seen him in which one was that? That was the
last,
No Way Home.
yes, the last Tom Holland we saw. No, the very first one. It was
Far From.
yes. Hold on, I can look it up.
It was
Anyway.
the one Tony Stark was in.
We've seen Michael Mando as Scorpion before because he was with Michael Keaton. Wasn't he in Michael Keaton's like crew, the Vulture's crew?
Yes. Oh, geez. Now I don't know if he was.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly where he was because it was in Brand New Day, or not Brand New Day. That's a new one. It was in Homecoming. That's what I thought.
Homecoming.
Homecoming, which was 2017. That's exactly what I was thinking because he is in fact in Michael Keaton, who was the Vulture. Yeah. Yep.
I didn't know he was a goon.
Yes, that's exactly what he was. But anyway,
Michael Mando. Yeah, Mac Gargan. I don't remember him. What did he do? What is he, just a side guy in a game?
Yeah, you saw him there, and I'm pretty sure he gets like, he might have been the one who was doubting Michael.
He was on the boat.
Yeah, I think he got like his butt
that's
whipped.
right.
Yeah, but anyway, I like.
That was Homecoming.
I think that's a really strong top 5. And the thing is, a lot of these, some of them aren't even going to be in my honorable mention just because there's so many good movies coming out next year that some had to be left out. But I want to say specifically about, let's just say the MCU, this is going to be the strongest year the MCU has had since Endgame. I'm calling it now because Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to reestablish the Spider fans. I love what they're doing with the story. I love the idea of you're back to friendly neighborhood. You're back to the actual Peter Parker that we all know and love.
And he's broke and he's sad.
Exactly. The Osborns are in there. You just described Sadie Sink's character, who could be Spider-Gwen or could be whoever, right? Like, we don't really know.
I thought it was a daughter.
We don't really know who she's going to be. But the idea is that Sadie Sink's going to be in there. That's going to really, it's going to be very interesting. There's a lot of theories about who Ned's going to become because there are some other characters who he could potentially kind of evolve into. But I think Brand New Day is going to be a big up for the MCU heading into Doomsday. I don't know what Doomsday is really going to be about. The plot's still very much under wraps, but both I think are going to succeed in many ways, in more ways than we could probably ever imagine. And then another one that is in my honorable mention, which we'll get to after all this, is Wonder Man, the series. I think that's going to be a little underrated because the concept for that's really interesting, and Wonder Man is kind of an underrated hero in the comic book sphere anyway. But moving on past the MCU, my top 5 movies, yes, they're stereotypical. The first 2 or 3, I'm sorry, but these are my interests. The Odyssey, I think that's going to be the epic of our time. Or at least one of them, right? Like, we talk about Lawrence of Arabia. We talked about Oppenheimer. We talked about all these films. We talk about 2001: A Space Odyssey. I really think The Odyssey is going to be the pinnacle of Nolan's career. I just see the epic nature of it. I see how big it is and the massive scale. I know it was getting a lot of hate for some of the historical inaccuracies. I will hold, again, the comedic take of the people who are mad at the Cyclops, which you didn't even really get to see. You only got to see like a shadow of it. But it's historically inaccurate. Brother, it's a Cyclops. What do you mean historically inaccurate? I know in the mythos it's historically inaccurate, but it's not real to begin with, okay? So anyway, I'll get off my high horse. I have every expectation under the sun for the Odyssey, and I think it will succeed in every way, shape, or form. I think it will be bigger than Oppenheimer. I'm really looking forward to it. Following that, I have Digger. That stars Tom Cruise. It's a comedy, and it's from, I'm going to mispronounce his name, and I'm so sorry, but it's Alejandro G. Iñárritu or Iñárritu. I can't pronounce his name. I apologize, again, 17 times over. But this is the guy that did, like, The Revenant, right? Like, this is a guy who, again, another really highly respected, very well-established, Oscar-winning director. The first one he's done in however many years with Tom Cruise. Just the teaser looks hilarious. Again, it is a comedy of like, I don't know. I can't describe how it was put in the actual trailer, but it's on the poster as well. If I can look it up, 2026 film, so that I can actually give you what I'm thinking of the name. A comedy of catastrophic proportions is what it is. Tom Cruise is Digger. And it just looks really, I just love the aesthetic of it. Iñárritu is the name I cannot pronounce. But I don't know why, but after looking at it for like the 5th time, it finally came to me. But I just think with that director, with that talent and that concept, it reminds me of a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. PTA is fantastic. I look forward to everything with this one. Third, I have Werewolf because I'm a Robert Eggers snob. Every time he puts out something, I'm in the theater. Jake knows from experience that I love Robert Eggers. We were watching a year ago, which is crazy that was already a year ago. We're watching Nosferatu. I was in the theater for, The Northman, which I thought was super underrated. I felt like it was hated for no reason at all. And everything before that, from The Witch to The Lighthouse, is just awesome. So I think The Werewolf, I love a time period piece. Like, I just getting lost in the aesthetic of the time, in the graininess that he has. He has an eye that's unlike any other. I just love it. And so I really look forward to being in another world crafted by Robert Eggers, and in the timepiece especially. For my 4, Coyote versus Acme. I've talked a lot about it on the show. It was a crime that it was canceled from the beginning. We will not go down that rabbit hole because that is a whole episode in and of itself. Warner Brothers, for tax write-offs and to get their money back, and even then some, they shelved it. From everywhere you've seen, from early screeners to critics to everyone who's in the film, which include like John Cena and, oh gosh, I'm blanking on the rest of the cast and crew. But anyway, the point is, everyone's saying this is a fantastic film that is on the level of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Which, that's another film that I hold in very high regard, especially for my childhood. It's hilarious. If it can be on that level, we have not seen a Who Framed Roger Rabbit-esque film since Looney Tunes Back in Action, which is another one that I find highly underrated. That's with Brendan Fraser. People hated it for 2003. I love it. Another one I watched as a kid. So this one hits it scratches the right part of my brain because it's got that great nostalgia. I think Looney Tunes is due for a comeback in some way, shape, or form. And from just the critic review of it, it just seems like it's going to be lovely. So Catch Up Entertainment, which released another Looney Tunes earlier this year, they bought it from Warner Brothers. It's coming out. I'm really excited to see what Coyote versus Acme actually looks like. And then lastly, just for my own personal interest, The Backrooms. So need I say more? I don't really think I need to go into exactly what The Backrooms are. Even if you are not on the internet, you've heard of The Backrooms, seen many of the games, the fan games made by it, or about it anyway. I look forward to seeing what The Backrooms will look like. E43, it's going to be eclectic, it's going to be eccentric, and it just odd in all the ways, shapes, or forms. And with them bringing on the guy that actually made it, the director, who's 20 years old now, he was 19 when he signed on, I think it's going to be true to source. I really look forward to The Backrooms. All right, Jake, your TV shows, my friend.
My honorable mentions or my TV shows?
You can do whatever you want.
We'll do honorable because I don't have TV shows in mind. I saw a movie in the top 200 most popular coming out in the 2026. That doesn't include the ones that might come, just will pop up, I guess, that we don't know about. But there is one, and it's called I Am Ryan. And I think it's a very small film, but it's a Ryan Reynolds doppelganger and his manager Henry cause chaos in Hollywood, with Henry exploiting the resemblance while his clueless client Brian, playing Ryan Reynolds, navigates celebrity events and red carpets. And I think it actually is main character is Brian Hobart. And I don't know if anybody knows who Hobart is, but it's a one-name guy. He's a musician, actor, host, and writer. What else has he done? Composer on 3 Below Average Dudes for one episode. He's not done a lot. So this is kind of like I said, it's a very small movie, but I thought it was funny concept that this guy kind of looks like Ryan Reynolds, like maybe in the dark.
In the right lighting.
But I think it's a funny concept. But it's an honorable mention because I can't wait to see kind of what happens with it. I don't know if it's going to be good at all.
Bro looks more like Seth MacFarlane than he does Ryan Reynolds.
They had a love child.
Yeah. He's got the Reynolds bushy eyebrows and the spiky hair, but he's got the face of Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah.
It looks like he's about to do a Peter Griffin impersonation.
And he's kind of got that the shadow of a beard, kind of like Reynolds wears his, I guess. But I guess my second honorable mention, which I think Ryan mentions later, is the Muppet Show pilot. I don't know. I did not know that we were going to get a pilot of the Muppet Show. So Kermit and Friends return in a modern take on their classic variety show format, mixing nostalgic charm with new comedy bits while staying true to the Muppets' timeless spirit. I can't wait for this one. It doesn't make my top 5. I assume it's going to be a series then. What's going to be fun is they're already saying that Sabrina Carpenter is one of the main stars in it. So I wonder who she's going to play because it's not listed. Gonzo's coming back. Got all kinds of names in here. Miss Piggy's going to be there. Kermit, Walter. I don't remember who Walter is.
Do you remember? So what I hope it's called the Muppet Show from. It's a newer series that came out like mid 2010s, and it was a comedy show that you see clips of floating around. But like it's more adult themed, like not like hardcore adult themed, but like some of the jokes are more like they hit a little harder. Like now they might not fly today, but like Kermit makes a joke about Miss Piggy's weight or her anger problems, like stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like so it's like it's again that might not fly today, but it was really funny, and I think those who know what I'm talking about also love it as much as I did. If it resembles that,
the Muppets period in 2015.
That's it
on ABC.
Yes.
Okay.
And
you hope it's that?
I hope it. So it got through like one season and then it was canceled because of, I don't even remember why. There was some drama behind it. And I think it had to do with the Henson family and like some lawsuit, if I remember correctly. So,
well, a lot of the same voice actors in that are doing this one.
Yes.
Like
so
almost all of the same ones.
I like the more like, it's not raunchy. It's not really more adult. That's the quickest way I can get to what I'm thinking. Like the way to make you understand the vibe of it. But like, I like the more kind of off color. I like the more like it's like early SpongeBob when like they had the jokes for adults or like Phineas and Ferb or whatever, where it was like, you're a kid, you're not going to get it. But like as an adult, you're rolling around laughing as your kid's watching the Muppets. Like I like that. I think that's so sweet because that's genuine family and that's genuinely all audiences. I want that back. And so I hope that's what this is.
Yeah. No, I agree. I didn't get to see the 2015 one. I could probably go back and watch it. But I hope they hit this out of the park. Then I've got Goat. Yes. Stephen Curry's right. Isn't he in this?
Yes.
Yeah, Lenny. He's the giraffe.
Yeah.
And then we got David Arbor. Caleb McLaughlin is the main character who's he's in Stranger Things. I forget his name. Isaac? Is it Isaac?
No, I don't think so.
What is it? What is it in
hold
Stranger
on.
Things?
Anyway, keep going. I'll come up with that name here.
I'm just listening.
Like 2 seconds.
Nick Kroll's in it, but it's
Lucas.
Lucas. Sorry, dang. So Goat is about a goat that like wants to be a professional basketball player, but basketball in this universe is like a Zootopia, and only like big animals can play basketball. So like rhinos and horses and giraffes and or like apex predator like panthers and stuff. And this guy's he's just a goat. He's like a small in size comparison goat, but it's a play on greatest of all time, and he's I guess going to be the greatest of all time basketball player. I just think it's done by the Into the Spider-Verse animators, so it looks awesome. But I think the story is going to be along the same lines as like Zootopia. It's going to be a great story, and it already looks great. So I hold that one in high regards. Doesn't make the top 5. I'm not big into basketball, but I think it's still going to be like a great movie, and I can't wait to see what it does. And then my last one, honorable mention, The Bride, because Jake Gyllenhaal's in it. That's it.
Yeah,
I think he's like a cop. I think he's like it's a Bonnie and Clyde. I think
it's directed
thriller.
by Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
and I love how Jake Gyllenhaal, who's a side character, is the thing that interests you when it's directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, who's very well known, and literally it stars Christian Bale. Christian Bale is one of the leads. You're like, nah, dude, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Jake's gonna hit it out of the park. He's playing another cop. He's got it. So
Yeah. A lot of my honorable mentions fall on that same line. The Muppet Show, The Bride, for a lot of the same reasons that we've already discussed. The Bride seems interesting to me. I love Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I felt like Guillermo del Toro did such a good job with his rendition, and I look forward to seeing what The Bride continues. They're not in the same universe, they're not related, but I love that they're off different paths. Like their beats are different in terms of which part of the story or what element of like a similar story they're telling. So The Bride's going to be interesting. As we talked about before, Project Hail Mary is in my honorable mention just because of everything Jake talked about. It seems interesting. Well, I meant to say this earlier. I'll say it now. If you've read the book and you haven't seen the trailer, avoid it at all costs, because from what I've heard from those who have read the book, the trailer has a massive spoiler for something that is supposed to be a twist in the book. So I know that's like kind of late news. I think we talked about it when we watched the trailer on the show. So we've kind of been saying it for a while now, but we'll say it again. If you're into Project Hail Mary, you're looking forward to the show or to the movie, and you've explicitly been avoiding the trailer, keep doing that, because it does have a apparently, I don't know what it is because I haven't read the book and I don't want to be spoiled for the movie. But anyway, following that, my three kind of last rounding out my honorable mentions: Supergirl. As much as I was saying about Marvel having a big year this upcoming year, I think DC will have a tremendously big year as well. We've already talked about Clayface, which I think is going to just pique the interest of comic book and superhero fans as a horror film set in a comic book universe. Clayface is such an underrated villain in terms of he's not really been explored that way outside of maybe the animated series, which obviously an all-time great series, but we go down a rabbit hole. We get to see where, or down a rabbit hole of the character, but then following that, we get to see exactly, like Jake had said, which universe it falls in, and it is a horror film. So I'm very interested to see how that kind of rolls out. But going back to Supergirl, the follow-up to Superman, a lot of the early reviews for Supergirl, they're not mixed per se, but there's a lot of positives. There's some negatives. A lot of it's like it's too dark, or it's kind of not a basic story, but you could kind of predict what was going to happen. But the highs are great action, great soundtrack, and the main lead, I'm blanking on her name, Alcock. No.
Oh, you're sorry. I was on Clayface still. Yeah, you're right. Maggie.
Yeah. Sorry,
Right?
I'm so
Maggie?
sorry. We've been doing this a lot. Millie Alcock. We're
Millie.
going through a lot of content, so we're blanking on certain names because we're doing a ton of stuff. So please forgive us. But Millie Alcock, apparently she is fantastic. She is a great lead. She does phenomenal in the film. I think another problem that critics were saying was that you don't really get to see Jason Momoa's Lobo very much. That was like one of the lows, is that like he's only in a couple of scenes where he's highly touted and like highly whatever. But I still look forward to the follow-up. Following that, there's a series called Ponies that is coming out on, I'm pretty sure it's Peacock. Yes, on January 15th. It stars Emilia Clarke. And it just seems interesting. Haley Lou Richardson is the other lead. This is from Time Magazine, their official website. They kind of describe it as, quote, "The new year is perfect time to hunker down with an icy thriller, and there's nothing colder than a Cold War espionage." In Ponies, the two leads that we had already described star as two ponies, Ponies, or persons of no interest. So Ponies is an acronym for persons of no interest, working as U.S. ambassador secretaries in 1977 Moscow. So it's another timepiece, another espionage thriller with two like heavy-hitting lead actresses on NBC and Peacock. It seems very interesting, very fascinating, and it just kept catching my eye every time we were looking through shows and films to look for. So catch it on Peacock, January 15th, the beginning of the series. It looks interesting to me. That's why it's an honorable mention. And lastly, we've already talked about it, Wonder Man. I think, again, going to be an interesting watch. I think this will be a big year for the MCU, and I think Wonder Man will be an underrated part of that. So anyway, that's my honorable mentions. Jake, get into the TV shows. Your top 5 or top 3 TV shows.
We've got some overlap, but my main 3 is everybody else's main 3. Jujutsu Kaisen season 3 comes out early to mid-January. I think the 8th. I think we're waiting on the 8th. Swing around. I will be sat, even if I've already seen the first 2 episodes in theaters. I will be sat watching the first episode. Both might drop the same day just because of the theatrical release, but I will be watching those. And then this year, I'm not sure if they've come out with dates, but Well, they did. I guess they said they was coming out the same weeks. Invincible and The Boys will both be out during the same time. I don't know if the first episode's coming out when the other one's first episode's coming out, or if they've staggered them a bit, but there will be story overlap, one coming out on Wednesday, one coming out on Thursday. I will be sat for both of those, or at least trying to sometime throughout the week, maybe even Friday, hitting both of them at the same time. It's just going to be like a good time to get some superhero punching,
Yeah.
in like, it's just those two shows are just, that's it. It's superheroes punching people.
Let us know if you want us to review any of these shows or movies, by the way, because like we're going to be delving heavy into the review space coming into 2026. I have a feeling, just because it's fun to do and we like talking about these storylines, and these shows are right up our alley, especially like The Boys wrapping up season 5. So let us know. We'll happily give it a watch if you guys want to see it. But anyway, please keep going, Jake.
Well, that's it. I only had 3. Those are the only ones that I knew of that were coming out this year or this coming year.
You looped the last 2 in together.
Yeah, the Invincible and The Boys. They're coming out at the same time. Like it's just a big deal. I saw people talking about it and I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's what I'm going to be doing with when do they come out? I guess I could just look up one season 5. It says April. So you know what I'll be doing in April?
Right.
Riding my motorcycle. And then super quick, my dishonorable mentions are movies. I don't think Toy Story 5 is going to do well for no other reason other than I don't think they're treating that franchise very well. And then Masters of the Universe, because it has Jared Leto, and that's just a joke. I don't know if it's going to do good or not, but I think it's funny to rip on him, even though Tron wasn't that bad. But those are my dishonorable mentions just because I think it's funny and an observation that I don't think Toy Story will do well. Ryan?
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to give it away.
Okay. Watch our review of Tron, because it really, like, Jared Leto probably does deserve to his fall from grace, because he's not that good of an actor. And I've heard he's, like, you can read online about his various controversies. However, he was not the problem with Tron. In fact, Tron was very underrated. Tron was actually pretty good. Tron Ares. But anyway, so I got 5 TV shows that the dishonorable mentions. We'll run through them quick, because me and Jake, again, have a lot of overlap here. The Pit Season 2 is my number 1. I am so looking forward. I thought the first season was just, I love slice of life. I think that just the drama of the Pittsburgh local ER and the stories, it just seems so realistic. And I love just it feels like guerrilla filmmaking. It's not, because like they have to, every little detail about how they run it, which makes it even more impressive, that has to be panned out, even to like extra number 17 walking from room A to room B in the background has to be planned and penned out and really like explicitly like described. But the thing is, I absolutely love the way it's filmed. It's shaky hands. Every shot is handheld, or at least it feels handheld. It really feels like you're in the room. And I love it. I want to see more of these characters. I want to see where they go. The second season hits in January, and they're on the 4th of July weekend. So there's going to be a lot of probably gore, which, again, I'm usually not a gore head, but in this instance, for some reason, I'm fine with it. It just feels so good. Like the show, the story arcs, it just feels so good. So we're going to continue with it.
Gorehead.
Yeah, gorehead. My second is, again, JJK Season 3. As Jake had said, in every way, shape, or form, it's perfect. And I really look forward to continuing to see how Yuji Itadori develops and his battle with Sukuna, how that is approaching, and all the fun stuff. So third, I have A Night of Seven Kingdoms, which is another series within the Game of Thrones realm. It is set somewhere between Game of Thrones as we know it and House of the Dragon, somewhere in there. And I actually have, in the time, I'm pretty sure they have a quick description of what the show's going to look like. Yes. So A Night of the Seven Kingdoms comes out January 18th. So we're seeing another tale in Westeros following the adventures of Sir Dunk and his squire Egg, which they're awesome names, right? But from what their description in the log line, as according to the time, it follows more of the same. The way they put it, bloody battles, grisly power struggles, lots of grubby men with swords and armor fighting each other, and a whisper of dragons. So yes, it is the same as the others, but there's something about Game of Thrones, something about, again, I'm not going to call it a period piece, but I love the aesthetic of the old knights. And I don't know. And with the way Game of Thrones ended, I think that we are due for more good series and good storytelling within that universe outside of House of the Dragon. So I look forward to that one a lot, just to see how they expand that universe a little bit. Fourth, I keep talking about DC. Lanterns. I feel like not enough people are talking about lanterns. You got Jon Stewart. You got how like all
I don't
these
think they
different
pushed
characters.
it that hard yet.
Not yet, but I see it a little bit in the HBO Max. But it's more of the like. HBO is more or less saying, look at all these amazing series we have, and Lanterns is looped in with all that, but they're not doing Lantern-specific promotions, which is odd. With the way Peacemaker is gone, the series seem to absolutely do amazing. Creature Commandos, all these series in this universe are hitting perfectly, and so I look forward to seeing Lanterns. I love the Green Lantern Corps and the kind of.
It's supposed to be gritty, like they're actively seeking that out, right? It's supposed to be darker.
Gritty, like a cop, not buddy cop per se, but like partner, like think like True Crime or True Detective or whatever, like where like that's the kind of the feel that they're going for. And again, I look forward to it. It just seems really, and the idea is that Hal Jordan is like a mentor to Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
And so like that's like, and yeah, I love the idea of the extended Green Lantern Corps. We're not just seeing one, which I think is usually the problem, is that we don't see enough of that core. Because the way that lore is supposed to go is that there's supposed to be like this massive fleet of these Green Lanterns, and then you get one every time. And so I like the idea that they're growing beyond that, Guy Gardner included. And lastly, there's a adult animated film on Netflix, I'm pretty sure, that's called Strip Law, which I just kept running across it. I love it. February 20th.
He loves stripping.
No, I love the aesthetic. I don't know what it is. Like I've gotten into Bob's Burgers this year. Common Side Effects was fantastic. Again, I'm not looping in JJK with this per se, but I have always loved animation, but I've grown in appreciation for it even more this year, just because we've gotten so much good content from the animation realm. And with that, I think Strip Law looks like another one that will be kind of underrated. Common Side Effects was highly touted, but since it's gone off the air, it's been not enough people are talking about it. And I think Strip Law is more on the comedy side than the drama side, but it seems like it'll be another one. I just like the way it looks. Another animation that just hit my mind, The Amazing Digital Circus, which is an independent coming out on YouTube. That's another great one that's out there.
I'm caught up on that.
I have one episode because I didn't even realize the last one dropped, and it's a couple weeks ago now. But
number eight or
seven,
number 7?
7.
Oh yeah, I've seen 7. Sorry,
but go watch The Amazing Digital Circus, free on YouTube. I'm sure it'll be on Netflix because the first 5 or 6 episodes are on Netflix already. But yeah, go watch The Amazing Digital Circus because it's funny, it's smart, and it's raw, like it's underground animation and filmmaking at its finest, and it is fantastic. It's so original. But going back to that. Adding to that, the great animation we've had this year, Strip Law just seems like it's another one that was just catching my eye that I have high hopes for. I'm trying to find what on the time. A series about an uptight Vegas lawyer who teams up with a low-rent magician to add some pizzazz to Sin City's dumbest cases. So it includes voice acting Adam Scott, Janelle James, Keith David, and Stephen Root. So that's not a bad lineup either. So I look forward to seeing what that is. Hopefully it's not just another copy-paste like adult comedy type. Hopefully it's a little bit more original, but it does seem like it's going to be fascinating, and I like the idea of a Vegas lawyer and a low rent magician doing their thing on the Vegas Strip. But anyway, and to round out our second segment, our dishonorable mentions. Jake, you already kind of went through yours, did you not? Yeah.
And you've got a great start.
Yeah, I know. So these dishonorable mentions, I think we should have led before we went through them. So Jake, again, had Masters of the Universe and Toy Story 5. These aren't necessarily films that we hate, that we dislike. We just don't think they're going to perform well, or they're not for us. So we're throwing shade, but throwing shade in a respectful way, if you can do so or believe it. So my first one is Primate. Primate, if you've not seen the critiques for that, or even just like the trailers itself, it's about a chimpanzee who is a pet to these what look like California friends who rent a house together or live in a house together. And for whatever reason, the primate, I'm pretty sure they're going to say rabies. It gets bit. We see it kind of get in a fight. And when they come home, the primate, I don't remember his name, is evil now. And long story
Rabies.
short, he starts ripping people apart, and like it's a horror and a thriller all at the same time. My problem is that I feel like we've seen this before. This just feels like another stereotypical horror style, just insert villain. I feel like, and now it feels a lot like if you've seen Nope, the Jordan Peele movie about the aliens, there is a metaphor and kind of a sub-story that goes through Stephen Yeun's character, who you see in that film, where there's a chimp that goes mad on a film set and it kills a bunch of people. That's what this feels like. It feels like they were heavily inspired by that idea, and they said, we got to have a reason for it to go crazy. Rabies. And it just feels a little lazy. It just feels like, for me, it's just not my cup of tea. It just feels kind of bleh. So Primate, and there's like also, you have to suspend, for me personally, you have to suspend my disbelief, right? You have to make it where I can believe that could happen, or at least make me want to believe that could happen.
Rabies is real, Ryan.
No, not rabies. The chimp grabs the keys. This lady's calling the cops, and she runs into her car, and he grabs this chimpanzee grabs the car keys and unlocks the car. So there's this quick scene in the trailer where she's locking it back and he's unlocking it. And what does he do to get in the car? He opens the trunk, or it's like an SUV, so he opens the back.
Bud. Look, man.
There's no way. Come on.
Robin
Williams, is that what you're talking about?
Robin Williams talked to a gorilla.
It was a gorilla. Yes. Okay. A gorilla can learn basic sign language. I can buy that because
Which means it can have pattern recognition and understand icons on a remote.
Maybe, but that just feels so like maybe there's a whole explanation.
How do you think they transported the monkey?
Yeah,
they were like,
right.
Press it, and then opens the hatch, and he gets in the back. He remembers that.
Come on, Ben, my chimpanzee, unlock my car. Ben, will you go start the car for me? It's cold.
Yes,
like, are you serious?
Why,
no.
Would you not do that with your monkey butler?
I wouldn't, because it's a chimpanzee. I don't want a chimpanzee in my car.
Well,
That's
how are you
crazy.
supposed to transport, bro?
Ridiculously, I think it's stupid, and I'm sorry. I respect the filmmaker. I respect the writers for trying to swing and do something different. And again, we talked about this last week. I'm adopting the philosophy of there's no bad films. This is not for me. That's all
I think he's a hater.
My second dishonorable mention is The Sheep Detectives, only because I find its concept to be, it's hilarious, and I bet it'll be very homey and be very fun. Like, it'll be a good kid watch. Hugh Jackman plays a sheep farmer. And the sheep farmer, to pass the time in his lonely days out in the mountains, so I guess he's out in like the wilderness in Australia or whatever. Brother,
is it Australia?
I'm pretty sure, isn't Hugh Jackman Australian?
He is Australian,
yeah,
but I don't think that's where the sheep detectives.
He has his heavy accent, and I thought that the cops that showed up also had accents, so I could be wrong. But
I thought it was in the Highlands.
Maybe it was in the Highlands.
Oh yeah,
anyway,
it's in Britain. It's in Irish Village. Sorry.
Oh,
Irish.
okay. Sorry, I didn't realize Irish. Sorry, I heard accents and I didn't really pay that close attention. Anyway, Hugh Jackman reads these true crime novels to pass the time to his animals, and because of that, and their long history of listening to him telling or reading his true crime novels, when he dies, he winds up dead. These sheep decide
spoilers.
They're going to. It's in the trailer. These sheep decide they're going to solve the case, and they're talking sheep. I don't know. It just seems kind of. It's going to be a good kids movie, but I don't think it'll be a good anything else. I respect again the filmmakers, but not for me. My third one, just because I find it hilarious, and I'm pretty sure there's a Shane Gillis skit about it. Young Washington.
Yeah.
If you've seen the skit, real George Washington had like giant, what are the like dentures made of like, was it horse teeth?
All kinds of different teeth. Some even speculate slave teeth.
Right. So George Washington was not really a looker. And like he was a leader, like he is the guy in our country, the first president. Like this is George Washington, right? But he didn't necessarily get portrayed as this good-looking young man who's like, I'm George Washington. Like, so it's your typical, you know, it's your typical action film with rose-colored glasses about our history and portraying all of our leaders, our like founders and leaders as like these bad A men who get your job done. And so it just
they weren't the best of people, but
right. But it just seems kind of comedic at like, yeah, they definitely Hollywoodified this historical figure, and I'm not really for that, so it's not for me. I have thrown shade at my number 4 before, and I'll do it again. Strangers Chapter 3. Who's watching these movies? They come out like 3 months apart, and I know that the first 2 were filmed on the same set, and they're historically low rated on Rotten Tomatoes. And there's some fans out there who are like, the second one is a cliffhanger. I want to see what happens. I don't care. Don't care. I know the original Strangers has like this cult following, and the original Strangers isn't bad, but the Strangers, the prequel films, the trilogy now, not very good. Not my cup of tea. And I don't really look forward to these. Again, as I said in the episode, who's watching these? Because they can't be that good. Anyway, and my last one, just because I'm petty and because I feel like this is a straight cash grab and because it should have ended 2 movies ago, Toy Story 5. What we doing? What we doing?
What are we doing?
Toy Story 3 was the perfect ending, and then you cash grabbed for 4, and I will say it was better than I thought. Woody got his ending. I was happy with it. Then you come back for 5. Listen, fellas, Disney.
And he's back now, right?
Bob Iger. That cow is dry. Okay? Like, you seen that meme where it's that old political style cartoon where that farmer's coming out with all these buckets and he's like, time for your milking, and the cow he's walking towards is literally just bone, just skin and bone. He's like, no, that's Disney and Toy Story right now. Leave Tim Allen, leave him alone. Okay?
Yeah,
leave Tom Hanks alone. Let him go to Greece. Okay? He lives in Greece now, I think. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Let him ride off. The film is done. Anyway, that's my dishonorable mentions, because some of them are probably just not going to be great, and others I have a vendetta against because I'm petty. But remember, no film's a bad film. So be nice to people. Anyway, that's the
one of
end.
these days we'll find one.
We should do, we've talked about this before. If you want to see a bad films series, Beyond the Screen presents bad films, and we review films that are so bad they're good, we'd love to do that because I think that'd be fun. But anyway, moving on. Anything else in our second segment before we move on to our final segment?
I got nada.
Okay. Coming up after the break, we play Real or Fake and tell you what you should know before you go. Hello, everybody, and you've made it to segment 3. As always, I get on my little soapbox here. I seem to
get off.
I stand on that soapbox a lot. It's got my foot imprints in it because I'm on it so much. But thank you for being here. As always, when we get to segment 3, we always are over an hour every time we get here. This episode's even longer. But the fact that you're here and the fact that you allow us to do this, as always, it's just like, I feel like when you're doing this type of content and you're doing it so long and you whatever, like we've been doing it for a year and however many months, going into our 3rd season in a couple of months, it's easy to like kind of get over it, I guess, is like, yeah, people will watch, but we want to get whatever. The fact that you're here is amazing. And I can't go without saying thank you that you allow us to do this, that you come to us for your film news or your entertainment news, that you allow us to banter and just kind of have the fun that we have because we love doing this. So, like, subscribe, comment, because it really does help. Wherever you're listening, if you're on Spotify, or if you're on Apple Music, if you're on YouTube, we love that you're here. Share it on your socials if you feel comfortable enough doing it, or just share it with your friends, because we'd love to have new listeners and we'd love to hear what they think about all this fun stuff. But with that, Jake, as always, who we telling?
Oh man.
Oh, he wasn't prepared this week. He was prepared the last few weeks.
Yeah, I had a cop out. Tell your teacher, your professors. It's gonna be hard. You can't just do film professors, right, Ryan?
Any professor, yeah. I'm gonna do a quick one because we're already kind of long.
Yeah.
You're sitting in your dorm, or you're sitting at home if you're a non-traditional student doing it online. You're sitting at wherever late at night, and you're like, it's 11:30, and this paper's due at midnight. You go to your anthropology professor's whatever his little
winter
module
class.
Yeah, his winter classes module, and you look and you're like, I don't have time to write a 6-page essay on whatever anthropology. So all you do is yeah.
It's your final is whatever anthropology is.
Yeah. So what you do is you're like, I'm gonna do this man a favor. Get on there and you start typing. You find the link, you put it in there, and you hit enter. You hit send. And all it is, you're welcome, prof. My favorite podcast, and it's our logo underneath, beyond the screen. You get an F. You fail. But little do you know that while he's grading those papers, what's that prof doing? He's listening to Beyond the Screen.
Listen, dude, you still failed.
You still failed.
It's not our fault.
But you grew the pod, and arguably, that's more important.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We're not paying you, by the way.
Yeah. Good luck repeating that class next semester. Anyway.
Yeah. Tell us what anthropology is.
Yeah, if you could describe it for us, that'd be great. Anyway, we know what anthropology is. We're being sarcastic. We play real or fake every time we get to our third segment, our last segment of the show. We go through 3 headlines and we dissect and we look to see what the internet's saying. We take the biggest kind of like point made by comments, by analysts, whatever, and even sometimes our own opinions. And we say, is that reaction real? Is that opinion real or is it fake? Do we agree with it? Do we not agree with it? We'll hop in just to give you an example with the first one. We'll talk about Avatar again because that is the biggest thing to happen this whole month, really. This whole year, even. Jeez, I know. James Cameron is set to become the first director to make 4 consecutive $1 billion earning films, as well as we talked about before, the Avatar franchise officially passes $6 billion, becoming the first trilogy to do so. Both legendary marks, both never before seen, both, yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So real or fake, simply put, James Cameron has a real case for the line of best director of all time, or the name of best director of all time. Does he or does he not, real or fake?
Does he have a real case?
To be named the best director of all time.
Sure, he has a case. Is he? I don't know. But can he be in the running? Sure. I'll allow it.
I'll allow it.
I'll allow it. I think he's got a real case, but I don't know if he is. I think that's very subjective, and it's very hard to really pin it down. At the end of the day, you could go by analytics, but I don't know. At the other end of the day, in the morning, at the beginning of the day, does analytics really decide who the best director is?
See, I follow that same line where it's like, I love James Cameron. I think he has one of the best and most expansive imaginations of any creator ever. Like, if you go and you look at the most creative and most imaginative creators, you have to put James Cameron on that list. However, if you're looking at this strictly by the numbers, i.e. for 4 consecutive $1 billion films, and that's the 3 Avatar films and Titanic. Those were his last 4 films. All of them crossed $1 billion. Most of them crossed $2 billion. You have a case if you're saying highest earning, if you're saying by the numbers, most profitable films, yes, you can argue that. However, I don't really think there is a best of for filmmaking because there's so many subcategories. Like in a sports-dominated world, right? Especially American politics, or not politics, but American
sports-dominated world and American politics.
Yeah, well, technically, you can argue that is also sports-themed as well.
Yeah.
But American culture is very sports everything. Everything is connected, or everything is related to sports in some way, shape, or form. And in that sense, what I mean is, as Jake had described earlier with the film GOAT, it's produced by Steph Curry. The name GOAT and the whole motif of a GOAT trying to make it in a basketball world is themed greatest of all time, which is an acronym for GOAT, right? Like you hear all the time, he's the GOAT of this, he's the GOAT of that. I think that this is falling into that trap. I see a lot of people online saying, oh, James Cameron might be the best director of all time, but only because they want their, as humans, we want to see patterns and we want things to be black and white. But the problem is, especially with filmmaking, especially with art, there isn't. It's super gray. If you want to argue James Cameron is the most profitable and he's the most imaginative and that's why he's your best, sure. Whatever. I can agree with that. However, you could say best horror filmmaker of all time. You could say best franchise filmmaker of all time. You could say yada, 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 specifically based in genre, based in era, based in animation, whatever, right? So I don't think there is a best of. So I say false. I say fake. I think that this is fake only because I don't agree with the premise of a best of all time. I might say for me, he's my best of all time, right? I would argue, me personally, that person is the best director of all time. I would argue, I would have multiple of all those, right? So I think Steven Spielberg, for me, right, if you're going to definitively try to label a best director of all time, they have to have made successful films, not just successful, but all-time films in every genre. And I think Steven Spielberg is the closest to do that. He created Jaws. He created, I mean, like look everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like E.T., all of them. You go through every one of the genres, and Steven Spielberg has a all-time hit in that genre. For me, that is the closest thing that you can get to best of all time. They have to have made an all-time classic in all of the genres. He's the only one that, in my mind, in my recent memory, off the top of the dome, that I can recall that has done that. However, I would not say he's the best true crime or like gritty filmmaker of all time. I think David Fincher is so good at the thriller, is so good at the drama. I don't think Steven Spielberg could make a film like David Fincher. If he tried, I would say he's trying to be David Fincher, and I'd much rather just watch David Fincher. No disrespect to either of them, right? I can objectively say I do think Steven Spielberg's better than David Fincher, but they're both good at what they do. You know what I mean? Like with Spielberg, you think wonder, you think massive, you think like whimsy almost, like dream state. With Fincher, you think gritty, you think almost true crime, like you think thriller and like drama. So I don't know. I don't agree with this concept. I don't agree with I see it all the time. Cameron might be the best director of all time. Well, is there such a thing? Because you got Stanley Kubrick and you have Chris Nolan of today. You have Alfred Hitchcock. You have every one of these major directors. And those are just the most basic of directors. You have every director under like Park Won-Chu, you know, who is a Korean director. Yeah, like all these different creators who could have their own label as best of whatever. You know what I mean? So I fake because I don't think that there is such a thing.
Come on, man.
Anyway, yeah.
Does he have a case or not?
Yeah, case in whatever. So if you know what, for you, sure. If you think so, yes. Whatever. Our second real or fake: Stranger Things season 5 is officially the lowest rated in the series. Primarily, now this is what I've personally heard from people I've talked to, so whatever, and what I've seen online. Primarily due to fans feeling, quote, misled with some promised content that never came into fruition by the Duffer Brothers. So, Jake, you've seen Stranger Things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have not.
No,
I'm not caught up.
I've seen some episodes. I haven't of 5. I have not seen 4, maybe even 3. But I was at home while my parents were watching 5 all the way through, and so I caught the majority of 5. And I didn't really necessarily have to go backwards, and
you could kind of catch what was going on.
Yeah.
I have no qualms with Stranger Things. It just wasn't for me personally. After season 2, I think, and they took another however many years of hiatus, I just kind of lost. Yeah. I kind of just lost interest in it, and I just haven't picked it back up. But anyway, real or fake? We are witnessing another Game of Thrones or Dexter's original ending type of ending. All-time hated. All this hype just to be let down kind of ending.
Yeah. I fear. I saw somebody had said with the Duffer Brothers that if you have to like say in an interview what you were going for, like you didn't write it correctly. Like you didn't do it right, I guess. And so I don't remember what they were talking about. I think it was the spoilers, I guess. Can I give spoilers, Ryan? Is that
As you gave the warning, give them a couple more seconds, but yeah.
1, 2. So Nancy and the brother of the guy, I forget the name
of Will's older brother.
Will's older brother. They break up after some turmoil. They were locked in a place, and I think that's what they were talking about. And people had to rely on an interview that the Duffer Brothers did after it debuted. And they're like, yeah, no, they broke up. They're like, that was the point. Like that's what they were doing. And so I thought, and then a lot of people had said that like that was the best part of the entire season was those conflicts, I guess, and them in that moment was the best part. So I don't know if that was the scene they were talking about, but I did see someone point that out, and I was like, oh well, I have not been interested in Stranger Things. I think it fell off back in season 3. Stopped watching it. If you can't keep me, there's a reason. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I'm not one to just stop, I guess, in the middle of a series unless I have like either I'm absolutely bored and I cannot give my time to this, or maybe it's just straight awful. You know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like I dropped Attack on Titan. I got bored. And like people will not agree with me on that, but I genuinely got bored. And I was almost at the end. I was probably a handful of episodes towards the end. And I have not finished. I just like I can't follow it, man.
yeah.
So maybe I'm smooth brained, but anyway.
Well, I wouldn't say
Real or
that.
fake? Sure. Yes. I think it's real.
I agree, and I'll say it's real. Well, one, to go back, I know that a lot of the complaints were that there were a lot of characters who just didn't seem like they were related to the main characters, or they weren't really close with the main characters, and they were just like acting like they were there for forever when they've only been introduced 6 episodes ago. So it's like that's a problem. And then again, like I said earlier, I know a lot of people online were saying like this was promised, this character's death was teased, this character's death was teased, and none of it happened. And a lot of people feel like they were again misled or let down because some things that they felt like should have happened didn't, or that again promised. I think this is real, mainly because people's expectations were so high that whatever was happening, unless it was exactly what was on their minds, it was going to be a letdown. And the thing is it is kind of taking a bit of a twist. It's not going the route everyone thought it would. And people are upset about it. And so I think that real, not because in terms of content, now again, I haven't seen it, not in terms of the content being innately bad, but because it's not what the expectation was. So that's why it will go down as kind of everyone will talk about. Think of Game of Thrones season 7. Oh, Game of Thrones is awesome. Game of Thrones is one of the best series I've ever seen, but the ending is awful. Dexter. They restarted the show because people hated the original ending so bad that they literally restarted the show, and now there's a whole spin-off of Dexter post that ending to rewrite it, right? I think we're going to see something very similar, not as in the show's going to restart, but we're going to hear that conversation with the ending was just so bad. The ending was so bad. It's like Game of Thrones. So yeah, I think real. And then there'll be an inevitable spinoff in 10 years. I even think that like Finn Wolfhard was like, I'd come back to this in 10 years.
Yeah,
So-
let's do a Welcome to Derry.
Dude, Welcome to Derry is one of the best shows of this past year.
Like they're gonna do that where they come back.
Yeah, but I don't. The thing is, that's kind of like written in the stars of like it wasn't.
Yeah, I
because
guess
the movies weren't bad. That was just a great prequel, dude.
Sorry,
Like
maybe Welcome. Sorry, just It Too. I guess. Right. I guess they're children.
the adults come back, but there's different actors.
Yeah.
But yes, in the first one,
Gotcha.
they're adult. So the whole point, 27 years, Pennywise comes out. And
Yes.
so 27 years pass after the first one, and they're all adults and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, our last real or fake of the afternoon. The first teaser for David O. Russell's Madden biopic debuts Nicolas Cage as the titular sports figure, John Madden. It's funny, I was talking about sports just a second ago. The internet has some thoughts about Nick Cage as John Madden. As we see on our screen for our visual watchers, I have some opinions of my own, but Jake, I want to ask now that you're seeing them side by side. Was Nick Cage just the wrong choice to lead this film? Real or fake?
No, come on. I don't know. I haven't seen it. But I think he looks I mean, I don't know if he looks exactly like Madden, but I still think it's like something we've not seen before is Nick Cage in a fat suit, or at least to my knowledge.
Yeah.
And then I think Christian Bale looks even better, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I look forward to seeing how this pans out, you know. And so I think it's fake. I don't think he's the wrong choice because Nick Cage can prove that he's got it, right? And I don't know Madden as like a person or a character well enough. Like I'm not in the world of sports. But if he was like a large and in charge, like just a personality, I think Nick will capture that. I think he'll do very well. But I don't know Madden. Was he like an asshole or was he
No.
like a no?
John Madden was known as kind of what you're describing. He was this larger than life figure. He was like everyone's favorite commentator before like going into the 21st century, right? Like as we turned into 2000, he was this huge. The football video game Madden.
Yeah,
They're named after this guy. So like this that's how impressive. So he was a coach for a while. He won a Super Bowl with the Raiders. He then retires from coaching to go to broadcasting. I think he was with CBS for years and years and years. And he's just known for his antics. He made popular. Have you ever heard of the turducken?
Yeah.
He is the one who popularized the turducken. It was something that he would bring on every Thanksgiving onto the broadcast, and they'd be eating turducken as they were watching the game. And so there's this funny clip of him. So like, you know how like you can draw on the screen and like as an analyst, you can kind of show what you're watching or looking for in real time. He just would do these things where he would just be so random. So there was one time there were 3 water buckets, like those huge water, like Gatorade tanks. And there was 2 of those and 1 smaller one. And for whatever reason, he just felt the need. He got the broadcast to show them in real time, and he circled them like 2 of the bigger ones. And he goes, you have a mommy bucket and a daddy bucket, and they made a baby bucket. And on real time, he just said it. He just did it. Circled it and all. Just so the people at home. That's the kind of guy he was, right? Like everyone loved John Madden. Again, one of the titular figures in all of pro football and sports as a whole. Not that Nick Cage doesn't have the chops to do it. Not that he's not as eccentric and can portray those antics like John Madden. The problem is, again, we talk about suspending disbelief. Nick Cage doesn't look like John Madden. And the thing is, so Nick Cage has certain Nick Cage isms, right?
Yeah.
Like when you hear him talk or when he speaks or when he does things, it's just Nick Cage. He can't help it. It's who he is, even if he's portraying something else. Go watch Longlegs and tell me that that's just not Nick Cage, right? It's Nick Cage isms trying to be John Madden. His voice isn't different. Like, I guess like for me, it's just like John Madden had this like kind of not baritone, but this deeper, like very specific. He almost talked kind of nasally. Like he had this very specific sound. Nick Cage doesn't sound like it. He doesn't try to sound like it, which I guess like maybe if you can't do it, don't do it at all. Like just so that you are more believable that way. But for me, just seeing the clips from the teaser, he just wasn't John Madden. Like I just couldn't get over that it wasn't John, like that it's just Nick Cage. And so I guess for me, it's wrong in the sense of I feel like there were probably other people who could have portrayed it more realist, like real to the person and the human. The thing is, the story in the film could be so perfect for John Madden. It could actually do the guy and his legacy beautifully. I guess for me, just as like just watching it, someone who I've played Madden since I was a kid, like I've been a football fan since I was a kid, so I see a lot of John Madden throughout my life because obviously the NFL is going to show as much of him as possible because everyone loves him. He has since passed away, sadly, but like everyone loved him. You kind of get used to seeing the clips and seeing who he was and kind of getting to know the man just from the documentaries and the quick clips and like the honoring that they do. Heck, this year, every NFL team wore a patch with John Madden on it to honor him. That's how popular he is. So it's like, I don't know. I just don't feel like Nick Cage was the right cast. Not because he doesn't have the talent, not because he's not going to do the guy justice, not because he can't fulfill those isms of the Madden isms. It's just the Nick Cage isms override those. And for me, it just kind of was a turnoff, you know?
Who would you have play?
I have no idea. I didn't come into this thinking of someone else who I would have, but I wouldn't have picked Nick Cage. I wonder if there's a list
Brendan
for this.
Fraser.
Brendan Fraser. Well, I don't know, maybe. That would have been closer. I wonder if there's a list for this. Madden teaser. Yeah, no, there's just previously considered. Oh my gosh. According to the AI overview, previously considered or rumored people to leave for this David O. Russell directed film was Will Ferrell, Hugh Jackman, and Tom Hanks, which would have all equally been as bad. Maybe Tom Hanks, maybe, but I still think it would have been the exact same. Then, according to
he did the Elvis,
Colonel Tom Parker from the Elvis movie. That's another one that I have problems with because apparently the real Parker had no accent and Tom Hanks just made it happen because he wanted to, and that's just not accurate at all. But apparently, some people were saying that it should have been Jesse Plemons or Frank. How do you say that name? Calindo? Oh, he's like a TikToker. I guess he could have done. He has a John Madden impression, is why people say it should have been him. But I don't necessarily believe that because he's not really an actor. But maybe he is an actor. I don't know this man very much. I've seen him a little bit. But anyway, the point is there were other options. I don't necessarily agree with the industry. and going, if this is true, going Will Ferrell, Hugh Jackman, or Tom Hanks, or Nick Cage. But they wanted a star to lead it, and they got one. I love Nick Cage. I'm not saying I hate Nick Cage. I just don't prefer him for this role. But either way. Any final thoughts on our real or fake?
Fake. I think he's going to do great.
And he probably will. I just, again, personally, not my cup of tea, but I hope that he does well, because John Madden, such an amazing figure for just sports and society as a whole. But anyway, that's the end of real or fake. We're going to hop through what you should know before you go. We'll give you 5 quick headlines. We'll give you some of our thoughts, and then we're going to let you guys out of here. Starting with, Disney officially crosses the $6 billion earned mark at the global box office for 2025, the first and only studio to do so this year. One Piece, and we're back to anime, we keep reverting back to this, has officially ended its weekly episodic run in favor of a seasonal format after 26 years and over 1,000 episodes, thus technically ending season 1, which I think is so funny. Season 1, because they ran weekly for so long, technically ended just this past couple of weeks. Anyway, crazy. Warner Brothers has refused to move Dune Part 3's release date, ensuring a collision course with Avengers Doomsday, which they're calling Doomsday. They want Barbenheimer so bad. They want Barbenheimer so bad.
Bro, it's going to happen.
Again, I say again, that happened naturally. Let it go. But I move on.
It's going to happen.
Netflix's Assassin's Creed series has found its director in Johan Rennick of Chernobyl and Breaking Bad fame. And lastly, IO Interactive's AAA James Bond adaptation, named 007 First Light, has been officially delayed by 2 months, now releasing May 27th of 2026. So we still have, not crazy long, but a little bit more. Any of those catch your fancy? Suit your fancy, catch your eye?
It's interesting to see that, did you say Johan Rennick? Or
That's what I thought it was.
I think so. I think it's interesting that the director is going to do the Assassin's Creed series, but we've seen the movie flop, right? I think.
Oh,
like
that was the one with Fassbender, and it was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if that one's going to be very good. We've talked about Doomsday. One Piece, the only thing I have to say about that is I saw a baby that's watching every episode of One Piece, like from the day he was born to, I guess, 1,000 days, which is about 2.5-ish. No, 3-ish years.
Right.
Right. Or two and some change. I don't know. What is.
Isn't that, who's
I'm not
the main
very good at
character of
math,
One
guys.
Piece? That's not Luffy, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I don't know a lot about One Piece, but I know it's like
I don't care to
insanely
know
long.
a lot about One Piece. I'm freaking
I
bad
like
at math, folks. All right. Yeah, 2.7. He's 2.7 years old. Watching One
literally
Piece
watched
every
it his
day.
whole life. Yeah, literally watched it his whole life.
That's what's funny about it. It's on TikTok. Look it up. Baby watches One Piece.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I think the things that catch my eye, going back to Rennick, he
Mhm.
won an Emmy, I think, yeah,
Chernobyl was awesome.
Chernobyl. Yeah, he's an award-winning filmmaker, director for Chernobyl. I
Yeah.
think Assassin's Creed is fine as a series. I think a movie it's one of those things where you try to stuff too much story into an hour 90
Yeah.
or like a 90-minute film, 2-hour film. So I like the idea that you get a award-winning director to take over a series that needs to be a series. In terms of the other things that kind of are interesting to me, IO Interactive's AAA, James Bond, do we think that will be anything worth playing? Do we think
No.
it will be?
No,
You really
it's going to
don't.
be an Agent 47 or whatever they're called.
Isn't IO Interactive the same company that makes Hitman?
Well, yeah, that was the.
We talked about this, and I'm trying to remember exactly. It is IO Interactive. So it's just the same software. It's just skinned like James Bond.
Yeah. So
I'm interested.
that's why I wasn't interested in the Hitman ones, and
The only
No.
reason I'm interested is because the last year we saw the Indiana Jones game pop off, and it was really well done. I did play that, and I liked it. And so I wonder if now this isn't going to be the same. Obviously, they're different. They're two different companies, and They're two different styles of storytelling. Indiana Jones is more action adventure, whereas James Bond is more espionage, like Hitman. So that's why I think it makes sense for IO to make it. If it can be somewhat like that Indiana Jones game, where like they do a really good job of being close to source material, like you feel like you're actually James Bond. If you're a super high tech, I know Hitman is a lot like that too, but like think about like the cliche, like James Bond technology, right? Like I would absolutely love it. I think that would be a lot of fun. So I look forward to seeing what that's about and to potentially, I don't know, I might not play it right upon release. I might kind of see how it's received first, like what the bugs are, and allow them to kind of shell out their various updates over a month just to make sure that I'm getting the best experience. But I am interested to see how it's received and how it looks upon release. Any final thoughts before we let the people go?
I will not be playing James Bond.
Jake's a hater.
Yeah, professional.
Gets paid for it. No. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our show. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys next week. 2026, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year. Be safe out there.
And guys, we're not going to be back for a whole year.
We'll see you next year. Anyway, we'll see you guys later. Goodbye.